founder and CEO of Tokenmetrics, and also general partner at Tokenmetrics Ventures. Welcome to the show, Tokenmetrics Live, where we'll cover our top picks for the coming week for low-cap altcoins, because that's what you guys always want, low-cap altcoins and the next 100x. Well, stay tuned. We're going to go through, and we're bringing back the crypto price prediction as well. So we'll go through, and we'll do a nice little segment on what coins we think are likely to do well using our platform, and also just using general Tokenmetrics investment strategy and framework, and then also answer your questions at the end via the AMA. So hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday. So first on the stream we have Just Yemup. Hey, what's up? Good to have you here. HP Supreme, New York in the house. Yes, smash the like button, smash the like button. BK Crypto in the house. Looking forward to the event in New York coming up this month. We got Biggie Tall in the house. Rabbit Beat HS in the house. Matthew, yes, I'm good. Life is good. Cannot complain. BK in the house. Olaf from Addis Ababa. Hey, what's up? We got Philly in the house with Sharif. Happy Friday, Baptiste Mendo. Good to have you here. AZ Isra. What's up? Good to have you. All right. So let us pull up the Mentimeter and start the show. So if you have any questions you would like to submit, go to menti.com, MENTI.com. Use the code 84417036. That's 84417036. Let's get the engagement up. Smash that like button, because as we like to say,
we just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
Yep, we're here trying to find the next 100x. And speaking of the next 100x, the 100x show is back. So I believe by tomorrow, we'll post our interview with the project I've covered before, NULS Protocol. It's actually an investment we've made with Tokenmetrics Ventures, and they've just launched. It's a Cosmos DeFi lending protocol. Very, very interesting. The interview is about 40 minutes long with the founder, Carmen. So stay tuned. We'll be coming back coming on the channel by this weekend, and we'll plan to have 100x show interviews about every 1 to 2 weeks. So look for a few videos each month, basically doing a deep dive with founders of products we think are very interesting in the space. And be sure to follow us on social, on Tokenmetrics, on Inc., on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, of course, LinkedIn, and the podcast. Did you know we have a podcast? So get our audio on the go. All right, so with that being said, on the agenda, we've done the audience welcome. We're going to go through the trending coins of this week. I'll give you my perspective on that, and also kind of going to get the people's perspective on that. Then we'll do a crypto price prediction. Then we'll cover the top 5 coins of the week, and then we'll do the AMA. All right, so let's look at there we go. Let's look at the coins of the week. These have been the trending coins of the week. So the options we have are Bitcoin, Litecoin, the Sandbox, Pepe, XDC Network, and XRP. These have been the most popular coins of the week, the ones that have also had the most activity. So if we go to the platform here, I'm just going to quickly just pull up each one, right? So let's begin with Bitcoin, right? The giant in the room. All right, so Bitcoin, the godfather. Let's see what our platform has to say on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is currently at 24,000, basically at about 570 billion FDV. Trader grade is in the sell, so it's not looking too good. Although it is up 13%, it's not looking too good. If we go to the investor grade, it's actually in the buy. So long term is decent. Short term, not looking so good for Bitcoin. That's kind of the quick recap. If we actually want to maybe even begin with the market update here real quick on the market page, anybody can access just by just going to tokenmetrics.com. It's free. We do have free accounts now. A basic plan is free, so there's no reason not to be on Tokenmetrics. You can see we're in a bearish environment. Bull and bear is still bearish, right? 21%. About 22% of grades on the platform are bullish, so not that good. And the main thing here, Bitcoin season versus altcoin season. We had this little rally up here, and now we've kind of been going flat. But basically, we had this nice little meme season where capital was flowing from Bitcoin into memes and altcoins, but we're not yet in a full-blown altcoin season just yet. And coming down here, the sector grades are still pretty low, but in average over the last week or so, they have about doubled in terms of average, right? So L1s are still the place to be. Preferably we're in a bull run when this turns bullish. We're not I won't say a bull run, but we're in a bullish environment when that is bullish. And we have the gauge over here, I would say in the green zone. And then once we start seeing all these sectors go up and they're also green, this can help you with sector rotation in terms of knowing what sectors to go into, where the big narratives are. So last week we talked about the Chinese narrative with June 1st and Hong Kong and all those coins basically pumping. But looking at this is kind of the perspective on Bitcoin, right? If we go, then we've got Litecoin. So let's do LTC next. All right, excuse me. All right, so wow, Litecoin. Litecoin has a traded grade over 80%. It is in the strong buy, up over 14% in the last 24 hours. FTV about 8 billion. And if we go to investor grade, it's in the buy as well, slowly creeping up. But yeah, let's see what is happening with Litecoin. We do have our AI-based, ChatGPT-based report for anybody who wants to kind of go through and read all the different factors that go into the grade. But looking at this, I see it turned bullish on May 17th at a price of $93.81. So very, very interesting. All right, so it's up, hasn't moved much, about 9% in the last 1 month. It has been up about almost 50% in the last 1 year. I know there was the whole speculation, well, not speculation, but well, I guess you could say speculation. People trading this due to the Litecoin halving happening. If we go to this signal, it is better than hodling this. Max drawdown is lower. ROI is actually better, which is good. Not the best Sortino ratio, but one is still decent. But all in all, this is actually looking good. So as a trade, I would prefer Litecoin over Bitcoin, just looking at this. If we go to the Sandbox next. All right, so we got Sandbox. Okay, Sandbox is neutral. However, trading grade has gone up by almost 42%. That's a big reversal happening in Sandbox. So I would definitely keep an eye on this. It's not quite in the buy zone, but something is brewing. So this is definitely worth keeping on a watch list. And looking at this, it's still bearish right now. But I think, if I actually go to a signal here, yeah, this signal has a lot of alpha. So this signal has outperformed holding by almost 5x return, almost a 4 Sortino ratio with just 11 trades. So something is happening. So I would watch this because I would not be surprised by Monday if this is in the buy zone. So this is actually looking pretty good. Pepe, I don't think we have enough data on Pepe because it's a new coin and we typically don't have, our AI needs more price action to really give new coins grades. Yeah, so Pepe is not really, trading it is not really the move. Investing is actually in the buy, but we'll skip that for now. XDC and XRP. So if we go to XDC, take a look at this. It's currently neutral. Investing grade is in a buy. But right now, we're focusing purely on trading. So XDC, unfortunately, I'm going to have to skip that. Not much to really write home about. Then let's go to the classic XRP. Wow, XRP in a strong buy. 81%. It's up about 2%. So XRP is looking good. Investing grade, it's in the buy. All right, so if we come down here, let's look at, okay, XRP turned bullish May 27th at 47 cents. This signal, better than holding, but Sortino could be better, but it's decent. But this is a lot of trades. 29 trades is a lot. All right, so if we do a quick recap. So basically, Pepe we skipped. XDC didn't really like. XRP is bullish. The Sandbox is trending. Then we got Litecoin. So yeah, the few trades I would say are basically that for next week. Litecoin, the Sandbox, XRP. And I would say the Sandbox, there's something happening. Like XRP is always going to be XRP. FTV, of almost 52 billion. So it's a very large cap. So not too much money to be made there. If we go to, let me go back. Actually, yes. So that, yeah. So if I would, XRP would be my third choice. Litecoin would be my second, and Sandbox would actually be my first, even though it's not, because 1.6 billion FTV, even though it's not quite in the buy zone, the fact that it's up over 40% in one day, I mean, that is a huge swing. That is a huge swing, right? So if I just hide all this, right, then let's zoom in here. So actually, yeah, I'll just do the last 3 months. Right, so we're looking at the grade. The grade has gone from 13%, it went up here a little bit, then it went up here, right, 84 when it was, yeah, because basically the low over here was what, about 60 cents. Then as the grade was, let's see what went up, around 46%, it went up. Then the top here was about 70 cents. And then the market kind of came back down here. And now it looks like it's going back up, right? So the price is going up and so is the grade. So for those who want to catch a token early before it's really peaked and not get in on the top, we're trying to kind of skate to where the puck is skating, right? Not where it is currently. And right now, this big reversal tells me there's something brewing in Sandbox. So let's actually pull up their Twitter and see if there's anything that's happened here. Let's see. They have 1 million followers. Okay, so BBC is joining the Sandbox in partnership with Reality Plus Web3. Favorite brands like BBC Top Gear and Doctor Who will be bringing immersive new experiences to our community, playing around the world. Then I see what Paris Hilton, Avatar Revolution in the Sandbox. So it looks like they have some announcements, but would that cause this to have that big of a reversal? Yeah, we'd have to take a deep dive into it, but looks like there's some kind of news coming here. So even though it has a lower trader grade, the fact that there's a sharp change, I would say be on the lookout for Sandbox for next week as coin of the week. All right, let's see what the audience says. The audience thinks Bitcoin is coin of the week. Bitcoin is coin of the week. All right, so let's see in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you think the audience is wrong? Would you do anything differently here? Let's see here. People talking about Kaspa and Cas. So Casper, there are two Caspas. I'll get to it, but our platform does like Casper, the blockchain, the DAG. And guess what? On our fund, we've actually added this to the portfolio because we keep on seeing this a lot on investor grade. We looked into it. We have a code review coming up on it, but it's scored pretty well. It's scored at 87% on code review. So Kaspa it's the truth. It's legit, not financial advice. But right, it's always been here because it's a blockchain, basically under 300 million FTV, proof of work blockchain. Recently had some. It's now available on, is it Bitmain Miner or Antminer? But basically, the next cycle, to some as the peak of the next run, 15 months or so after Bitcoin health, because the test happened. So this to us, we think it's worth that, not financial advice, right? You already remember to put more than 5% of your portfolio into any crypto investment that you get right, because these are altcoins. These are still tough to trade or even invest in. How's my voice? Can you guys hear me? Is the voice fine? Okay, hope everything's fine audio-wise. Okay, let me move the mic closer. All right, so, but now let's segue to the next section, because Bitcoin was a winner for this. People do like Bitcoin. To our price prediction. This is so let's first begin with a poll, or I guess a guessing game. What do you think the tokenmetrics, well, I guess in this case, my price prediction for Bitcoin is? So come over here to menti.com and pick a number, any number, right? So we have a range from $80,000 to $170,000. Now, this is a price prediction for 15 to 16 months post Bitcoin halving, right? What does that mean? That means summer 2025. I keep on saying this. This is a moving target, of course, but currently, from the research we've done on this show, I think last month on the stream, if you go and look at every Bitcoin halving, historically speaking, you have about 15 to 16 months of parabolic bullish price action. So that's why I tell people, currently, we have 11 months to accumulate. To keep things very, very dead simple, buy low, sell high. And by definition, the best time to buy low is before the Bitcoin halving. And the best time to sell high is after the Bitcoin halving. That's as simple as it gets for Bitcoin and altcoins. Altcoins especially. The 100x altcoin returns happen a lot more post Bitcoin halving. You want to be in the game before the rocket ship takes off. So we have 11 months left because Bitcoin halving is estimated to be at around April next year. So we have 11 months, actually maybe even less. Yeah, so we have basically 10 months left. I think about it. We have about 10 months left to accumulate. The last thing you want to do is buy at the top, right? So using our market page, you can go through and I'm going to do a price prediction on Bitcoin, right? So if I just zoom out, we want to be getting out of the market here. In this instance, basically taking profits, taking money off the table. We're never fully out of the market, but you don't want to be fully in the market over here, right? Because you sell high, buy low, sell high, right? If we come down here, kind of the same thing, right? When it's altcoin season, when it's here in this green zone, this is a time to take profits, get money off the table, crypto retirement, go on vacation, buy a home, invest in other asset classes, what have you, right? Buy low here, sell here. All right, so if that's the case, if that's happening, what is the prediction, right? So if we just go, because I mentioned Bitcoin halving happens every 4 years or so, right? And Bitcoin halving is happening around April of next year. And the top is going to be summer 2025. Now, if the price of Bitcoin changes, that's fine. But where do we see Bitcoin going? All right, so let me actually pull up a Bitcoin halving chart. So let's see. I'm just going to do this here live. Actually, this is one from Pantera Capital. Right, so if we're looking at this, yeah, you have other models like stock to flow and others, but we're going to kind of skip that for now. Okay, so here's one, right? So this is from Pantera Capital. Okay. Is anybody having issues with the stream? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on because we have a new, well, the platform we're using got bought by some other company and there have been issues ever since then. But if anybody's having any issues, just let me know in the chat. Okay, so post Bitcoin halving, I think it might depend on people's browser connections. Some people seem to be fine. Some people seem to have some issues. But anyway, post Bitcoin halving rallies, right? So here we're looking at this from Pantera Capital. This is basically from Bitcoin from $1. So each white line here is a halving, right? So from Feb 20, what is this? Yeah, so basically we had Bitcoin went up about 470%. Now on this initial range, then from here, basically about a 92x, or 9,212%. Then here we have 241%. Then here 2910%, basically 29x. Right. Okay, so but let me see a different chart. Actually, I want to find, just bear with me here as I try to find these charts. All right, so here's a different chart. All right, this is from CoinDesk. So we have basically from about, we have November 28th, 2011 at 254. So 365 days before the halving, it went up 385%. And then 365 days after the halving, it went up basically an 80x, right? 8,069%. And so it went from $2.54 to $1,000 basically, November 28th, 2013, right? Then price goes down. Then 365 days before the halving, it goes up 142%. And then 365 days after the halving, it goes up 284%, basically from $270 to $2,500. And this is July 9th, 2017. And then we have here basically May 11th, 2019 at about $7,300. 365 days before the halving, it goes up 17%. And 365 days after the halving, it goes up 560% basically. And it goes up to basically 56,000. But basically, long story short, if we just look at these zones, right? These, what's this, purple, violet, whatever you want to call it. And you have this 80x return. This goes up, this goes up. Then here it kind of is correcting, or in this case, sometimes going flat. But then pre-halving, you have this, I guess, what, tan color? You basically have from here to here, it's going up, from here to here, it's going up, and from here to here actually went flat. Right? Now, this is not really up to date, but the general premise is that it's going to go up. And typically every halving, there's new all-time highs. These are not redirecting. So basically here you have this other chart, basically looking at Bitcoin as well, every halving, right? So this is what is anticipated, right? So this chart shows from 2012, we basically had a 95x return to the all-time high. Then 2016, we had a 30x return, right? So if we do, let's see what 95. I'm just going to do some quick napkin math. 3.6. Then we've got from 30 to 6.5x return. 4.6. Right. So if we go from that, so basically, as Bitcoin gets more scarce, it goes up in price. However, the rate of return is always getting lower by a huge factor, right? So here, you basically went up 95x. Then next halving, it reduced by a factor of, let's say 3, right? Because we said 95 over, right? And then next halving, it decreased by a factor of, from the 30 to the 6, by a factor of 4, basically. 6.5, 4.5. So if we go to next halving, I'm thinking by a factor of like 6. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. So if we do what, 6.5 divided by 6, looking at basically about 100%, basically Bitcoin could double in price. This is all just napkin math, right? But if we take that premise, right, and we say, okay, what is the current price of Bitcoin? All right. So if I actually go back to Bitcoin here, but I'm actually not even gonna really use the current price of Bitcoin. I think it's better to use more so looking at the all-time highs. All right, let me zoom out to our price chart here. Let me actually hide the TM grade. All right. So basically, we could say what the price went from like about 3 to, let's say like 5K here, but actually the low point was about 3,400, right? Yeah, let's say that, right? So actually, sorry, let me get all the Bitcoin halving dates for everybody. That'll be better. So the first halving was November 2012. Then we have July 2016. Then we had May 2020, right? So May 2020. Then next one is April 2024, right? So May 2020. Yeah, basically about 9,300. And we went all the way to, it was almost 70K, it was like 69, but over here, what is it? Is that right? Okay, anyway. So we have basically about what, almost 12x? Actually, here, let me switch charts. Okay, let's switch to, yeah, so we have about 69K from, yeah, this was basically the bear market, right? So it went from here, crashed May 2020. Basically, like we're looking at 5K all the way up to 69K. Right, so I'm going to just do some math. Looking at about 14x. And let's say it's going to reduce by a factor of 2.1. So then if we say the bottom was like basically about 16K. Let's see here. If we go back to this other chart, what chart was I looking at? Yeah, I'm more inclined to actually use the last all-time high. So if we take like 69K, let's say 70K, I think based on all this, honestly, the max I can see Bitcoin, or I can predict Bitcoin going, would be about 2x the last all-time high. I don't think it can go any higher. All right, so if we say 70K, we're looking at basically about 140K for Bitcoin. That would be my reasonable projection. I can't change the time frame here. And then if I had to pick like a very low point, I would take the low from what we have right now and basically say we're looking at basically anywhere from 30K to 140K, right? I think 30K would be more so like the next bottom once it crashes. So basically kind of like here how we went to 70K, then came back down to 15K. All right. So next cycle, I'll be looking at basically a price target for Bitcoin of about 140K, and then coming back down to 30K. So basically we're getting higher lows, right? The lows or the bottoms are getting higher and higher, right? So we went from like what, 3.5K, 4K to now this cycle, 15K lows, right? So into next cycle, 30K lows, right? With the high, I would say looking more so 140K. Actually, I might have to update my my prediction here because that's not what I wanted. Actually, hold on. Let me just stop sharing real quick. And just let me update it. Give me 1 second. Okay, I guess I cannot change the answer. All right, so let's give it a. Okay, let me share my screen real quick again. All right, so I would say like 140K is kind of what I'm looking at. But if we want to be safe, maybe even more conservative, all right, if we want to be safe, like in the initial projection, I was looking more so at about 125K, all right? So that's basically taking about 60K as the price point, right? And just taking it's going to double, give or take. But let's see what people say. So we have predictions. Wow, we have 6 people that think 80K is the price. Then people all the way between that and 170K. So the earlier prediction I had was actually, drum rolls, 125K. But I'm actually, just after going through all this analysis live, right, I'm actually going to change it to say anywhere between 125K and I think 140K. I always like to add a buffer, right? So I think 125K is a good level to begin taking profits, essentially, right? So going back to the whole premise, altcoin season, right? I think once Bitcoin goes to 125K, you have to start taking profits, maybe going into alt and other asset classes or tokens, and maybe even out of crypto, maybe into stablecoin, cash. But let's see what people have to say here in the comments. You hear me loud and clear. That's good. Sandbox is up because it's one of the legal cryptos in Singapore. Oh, actually, I think I did hear about that. I think OKX had mentioned they're going to list it or something. Thanks for these live streams. Took a few months off of Tokenmetrics because I wasn't using it. A long time advanced subscriber, but recently started learning how to use Tokenmetrics to its full potential. That's great. I'm glad to hear that, man.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
And now we have a free plan, so anybody can go and do all this analysis, right? So because this page we're on is free, and the ratings page is free. Now to have access to customize the filters, that you do have to pay, but we're giving you access, essentially. All right, so hopefully that helps. If we now go to the next segment, let's go to top 5 coins of the week using Tokenmetrics. Now, this part that I'm going to do, you do have to have a plan, a paid plan, right? So for those who are new to Tokenmetrics, you can just go to tokenmetrics.com and sign up, right? Let me just go through the plans again, right? We have free plans. The basic plan is now free for limited time, right? So I would definitely take advantage of it now because, like we just said, post-Bitcoin halving likely will not be free. So those of you who are here with us pre-Bitcoin halving, we want to salute you and give you some alpha and give you free access. So definitely, I encourage you to go join this now. But basically, this gives you all of that. But the ratings page that I'm going to showcase for this, you just go come to ratings. These are our AI ratings. AI has been taking over in the market, as people are aware, post ChatGPT. But anyway, all this is free. But if you want to customize, which is where the real value of Tokenmetrics comes in, is you have to be on a paid plan. So either an advanced plan or a premium plan. So I'm going to come here and customize. So I'm going to begin with a filter. So we're actually working on creating a checklist as a document to help people on board and all that. So the filter for, I'm going to start with this trader grade. So I'm going to say trader grade higher than 60%. So that will show us tokens that are in the buy. Basically, that range from buy to strong buy. And then I'm going to say trading signal that is bullish. All right, we're now down to 49 coins or tokens. Now we're going to add a trading filter or trading volume filter to make sure we don't find any illiquid assets. So we're going to say $10 million or more daily trading volume. All right, we're now down to 26 tokens. So from here, you can kind of do your own thing. But let's say we only want to look at those tokens that are trending up, where there's been a large shift in trader grade in the last 24 hours. So I'm going to say 24-hour price percent change. Actually, I'm sorry, that's the wrong filter. That's not what I want. Let's just reset that. I'm going to say TM trader grade 24-hour price percent change filter. So where the trader grade has changed by more than 5%. So it's basically trending up. It's on the up and up. We're now down to 6 tokens. So now I'm going to sort this by the biggest swing in trader grade. So we've got NULS up almost 160% in trader grade. I mean, that is a lot. Then we've got Rally, we've got Bitget, we've got Illuvium, we've got Litecoin, and we've got self-key. So let's look at all these. So beginning with NULS, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, NULS. Looking at this, yeah, it's gone, even though it's down about 8% today, currently at 23 cents. Trading grade has gone to the buy zone, up almost 160%. Looking at this, let me look at the chart. Yep, looking at this signal turned bullish recently. So there's something happening here. Let me look at the signal. Yeah, signal is relatively, actually not doing that well, trading signal, but maybe something new happened. I've not really heard much of this project. Let's actually pull up their website here and their Twitter to see what's going on. All right, so their Twitter says, making it easier to innovate, a microservice architecture blockchain. Okay, it looks like it's a blockchain as well. Let me actually check out the investor grade real quick. Also in a buy. And actually, yeah, so it's gone from what, like about 20 cents to the peak here was 31 cents. Now it seems to be rallying back up. Okay, so this seems to be a blockchain. Next level blockchain solution. I'm not sure about this website. It does not give confidence and the website. But let's see, where is this trading? Because the FTV of 50 million, it is pretty low. It does have $15 million in trading volume. Currently on Binance and OKX and Huobi. Okay, so it does have some decent exchanges. It's a public open source community driven project. So it's an open source blockchain, it looks like. Eco-friendly, cross-chain, adaptable, cost savings, third-gen blockchain. It's a third-gen blockchain with a first-gen website. But I guess that's what happens when you are a new project. Actually, how long has this been trading for? If we go back here. Okay, it's taking a while. Actually, it's been trading for a while, since 2018. Yeah, this to me would be more of a degen trade. Well, I mean, I guess all these are trades essentially, so fundamentals don't matter too much. But let me see what they're talking about here. NULS mainnet is now live. This is back in Feb. Layer 2 and scaling Ethereum in the most. It's a layer 2 EVM. Then I see they've got null swap. So this looks like it's like a EVM, almost kind of like Shiba, how they have SHIB swap and other stuff, but I guess with their own blockchain. Huh. Then what is this? MSwap is, yeah, it seems like they're kind of creating their own forks. But anyway, as a trade, I'm not sure why it's doing well. Maybe it's part of the whole Chinese narrative. I see Singapore. Yep. So it looks like people are trading this to speculate on Singapore and Asia and China and Hong Kong, because being crypto friendly. So this would be, I guess, one to potentially ride that narrative if you're bullish on it. But basically, trader grade is in buy. It's not the highest, but it has the biggest reversals. That tells me there's a lot of volume, and I guess people are speculating on Lowcaps. All right, so that's one. Let's move on to the next. We've got Rally. Trader grade is up over 80%. 27% change in trader grade, which is high. It's up almost 6%. FTV of 171 million. About a third of the tokens are liquid, so tokenomics could be better. So trading it makes sense. Investing grade is up a lot as well, but it's still neutral. But if we come over here, and let's see what's going on here. Also turned bullish. So all these with this sharp reversals are turning bullish. Coming down here, trading signal could be better. Basically, this hasn't really performed well historically. That's the way I would read this. But going back to the strategy, it is up 36% in the last week. So I'm guessing this is also catching some big narrative. If we go to the Twitter, let's see what's going on. And Rally Network is an ecosystem of on-chain consumer apps. Okay. Okay, I'm not really seeing much here in terms of updates. Is this the right Rally? Did they change the website? Rally. Because I guess they did change their website, because over here they used to have rally.io. Okay, so we've got Rally Network, an ecosystem of on-chain consumer apps. Mobile developers simplify your Web3 UX with our powerful software. Products on the Rally Network using our technology. Oh, Hotline's actually using it. Okay, that was a product we looked into a while back. Not, I would not click that link if I were you. It's one of those interesting crypto projects. That's anyway. Yeah, because I recall Rally looked at them a while back. Last cycle, over 2 years ago, I think almost 3 years ago, had a really good investor list, right? You see A16Z Crypto, Coinbase Coin List, Kinetic Hashed, One Confirmation. Yeah, I mean, so trading this, I think this has good fundamentals. So trading it, I think, makes sense. It's already in a strong buy, which is good. Then if we go to the next one. All right, excuse me, everybody. Next up, we have Bitget, 77%, up almost 16%. It's in the buy, about to go to a strong buy. FTV almost $1 billion. This has been doing well as an exchange, I believe. Yeah, it's almost up 20% in the last 1 year. So as an exchange, it's done pretty well. Like, if you had caught the signal here, you would have got in at about 19, 20 cents. The peak was almost 50 cents. Bearish signal was about 35 cents. So good continuation, but with this, you're actually better off just holding, although you would have had a lower max drawdown. But yeah, so Bitget is definitely one I would look at as an exchange for next cycle. I think that makes sense. We've got Illuvium. I've been hearing a lot about Illuvium. So about 300 million market cap, so about 600 million FTV in a strong buy. And I think there was news. I think Illuvium got investment from Framework Ventures this week. So maybe that's why it's moving. They're looking at this. Okay, it did turn bullish as well recently. So worth keeping an eye on this one. And Sortino ratio is good, 3.5. A lot of alpha in the signal, only 6 trades. So yeah, I would definitely look at this as a trade for next week. But let's see what the catalyst is. Okay, so great news. The much anticipated Illuvium Overworld Private Beta 2 is now live and ready to download. Prepare to navigate the expanded world of Illuvium with new regions. Yeah, so this is Illuvium Game Studio. So it looks like they have something brewing. Then who is a tennis player? Yeah, so Illuvium and Framework announced a $10 million funding into them. And this happened yesterday. And then you have basically this private beta access. So this actually, to me, makes a lot of sense. You have a project that's been around for a bit. It's a gaming project. Yeah, so this, I think, that was investment. Let me go back to trade. Yeah, as a trade, this makes sense. Illuvium as a trade makes sense, not financial advice. All right, so then the next token we have here, or coin, was Litecoin, actually. If we go back to top 5 coins of the week, yeah. So I would say Litecoin and then Self-Key. We've kind of covered these before. But if you're looking for, I think this gives you a good, decent exposure across all different valuation ranges, right? Because if you're looking at this market cap wise, NULS, super degen, 24 million market cap. Rally, about 60 million market cap. Bitget, about 700 million market cap. Illuvium, about 300 million market cap. Litecoin is for those who want large caps, who want a safer play, 7 billion market cap. Self-Key, 55 million. Now, if we actually go to the FTV, because I think that's a better way to actually assess this, NULS is basically 50 million. Rally, about 170 million. Bitget, about $1 billion. Illuvium, about $500 million. Litecoin, 8 billion. Self-Key is still about 55 million. So those are the top tokens using the Tokenmetrics platform for the upcoming week. Obviously not financial advice, do your own research. These would be trades. So with a trade, you want to put max 1% of your portfolio into a trade. That way you don't get wrecked, right? But this is how we actually use the platform with our fund, Tokenmetrics Ventures, to trade in the same way, right? So the key data points or key filters you could use. Let me reset this. Because even with the basic plan, you get access to most of these filters, right? So for free, you can literally do all of this. Now you just come here to trade a grade and just add filters for trading volume and trade a grade, right? So we said trade a grade over 50%. The custom filters I like to add is you can add different data points such as Sortino ratio and others, but even the basic stuff, I believe basic plan should have access to, right? If we come here to, add a bullish filter, then you can say trade a grade change. If we say, let's just say, it was 5%, we said, right? 5% and higher. This basically gives you the same list. And you just come here and basically sort. Okay, looks like something. Did this update in real time? Because now I'm seeing. Actually, I'm sorry. Then the trading volume filter as well. And I filter out those illiquid tokens, and basically the same list. So you can literally do this for free, right? So
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
go out there, use the platform, create an account, and come back and share your crypto wins with us. All right. So going back to the stream, let's now switch over to the AMA. Okay, so let's see here. Hi, Ian. With you from Excel days, you need to see this. Faucet.vulcanblockchain.com, claim 10 vol, wait 90 seconds, literally rebasing. Yeah, I mean, would have to look into it, but this seems like a big show. So unfortunately, I'm going to skip that. But let's see if it's actually on the platform here. Is this Vulcan Forge or it's different? Because Vulcan, it may be something totally different. Yeah, I think it's totally different. So we can do that later. Okay, next question. Other than ICO drops, are there any other sites to find new upcoming projects? Yes, of course, Token Metrics. Right. So if you go to our research site, we have begun publishing hidden gems again. Apologies for the delay. It has been a bear market. But basically, if you come in here, hidden gems, these are projects that are early, haven't launched yet, or about to launch. So our team goes through and looks at several products a month. So 30 to 50 products a week, I'm sorry. And out of those projects, we find the top 5 most interesting ones and publish them each week on our research site, research.tokenmetrics.com. And you come here and you can see all these different projects, right? So for example, this is what we published this week. Right, so we have Unisat, Tenet, Attic, Smiley Finance, and Analog. Let me actually just do a quick overview on each one, right, to show you the kind of alpha we're trying to give. And most of these projects eventually end up having big launches, right? But let me just share all these with you, right? So we've got Attic, we've got Unisat. All right, we go through and kind of share what we like. We've got Tenet. We've got Analog. Is that 5? And we've got Smiley Finance. Right? So if anybody who likes to find products early, hidden gems is for you. Right? So this is one. This is called Attic. Right? Start earning Attic or ATT by staking your paths. This is basically like a, I'll just read this, right? An exclusive corner of the internet owned by the closed communities. It's basically a community and forum. So if you come here, like they've got an airdrop over here. All right, so I think anybody who got their airdrop can come here and stake. But basically, it's a community-driven forum for Web3, right? So as I pull this up here, looks like it's pulling all this data from the blockchain, so it does take a while. But think of this as kind of like the typical forums you've been a part of, but on-chain and with community, or rather token incentives. Okay, yeah, this is taking a while to load. But anyway, you guys can go check this out, right? This is one project. Then the other one is Unisat. So anybody who's curious about BRC20, basically NFTs on Bitcoin, this is one worth looking into. Open source Chrome extension for Bitcoin ordinals and BRC20. Okay, so this is actually pretty cool. So if we click on this, right, all these are inscriptions. So people have been talking about this a lot. And even though this is a new site, it is trending. They have a wallet you can download, kind of like a MetaMask for Bitcoin ordinals. They have a marketplace, which I think is pretty cool, right? So this is kind of a mixture between MetaMask and OpenSea for Bitcoin ordinals, right? So if I click on this, you can come here and basically choose 2 wallets. You have Unisat and Xverse. Xverse, we actually covered this, I believe, last week. as the other hidden gem, right? So yep, Xverse was last week's hidden gem, all right? And here's the thing that's pretty mind-boggling about Unisat, right? If you come here, looking at this plugin we have, looking at the web traffic, they've gone from basically 0 in Feb to 200K in March to 367,000 monthly visits in April. So this is a hockey stick growth. Bitcoin Ordinals has been trending on the up and up, and we're letting you know about this project. Now, this project is actually in the process of raising privately, but worth keeping an eye on this project. For anybody who's looking for Bitcoin Ordinals plays, where this is worth the look. So that's one. Oh, that's the second one. The third one is Tenet. So just going through this, built on the most secure blockchain supported by a distributed basket of LSDs backing a native stablecoin. But anyway, worth looking into all this. Now, these are projects that we've curated that are interesting, but not all these projects have officially gone through a formal code review. So tread carefully. All right, this is basically us telling you, out of the 50 products out there each week, which ones are the ones worth doing a deep dive. This is basically a watch list, not an investment list. Right? Do your own research as usual. And never put more than, if you're doing long-term, never put more than, I'd say 5% into any new token. But in this case, treat this as trade. So I'd say 1% of your portfolio. But these are worth looking into, right? So this is Tenet, TENET.org. Then this is one that's actually very interesting. We did a code review on this. This will be coming out. This is in queue. And basically, they go by Analog, the world's first layer 0 blockchain, powered by proof of time. Very, very interesting project. I think on code review it scored at 89%, but basically definitely worth checking it out into this, right? Very, very interesting project. And yeah, right, worth putting on your watch list. This is their token, ANLOG token. And you can basically join the socials, right? So let's say, how do you find early stage projects? Let's say this is an L0 blockchain. So if they're going to do any kind of airdrop, basically letting you know, hey, this is an interesting project, maybe worth going into the community and getting an airdrop, right? If they have a test net and test net incentives, that's one way to get free tokens. Kind of like how you had Arbitrum airdrop, you had Optimism airdrop, you have all these other interesting projects and their airdrops. Well, this is one worth looking into, right? Layer 0 cross-chain narrative is going to be big for next cycle. So worth checking this out. Because let me actually go to the Telegram. How big is the Telegram group? Okay, looks like I don't want to, my browser is not trying to play nice. Yeah, they have about 6,000 people in their Telegram. So it is still relatively early, give or take. And looks like my browser is trying to freeze over here. Okay, just give me 1 second. No, don't tell me it closed. All right, let's, can we reopen this? Okay, yeah, we are back in business. Okay, all right, so that's Analog. Then the last project on the hidden gems list from Tokenmetric. Okay, not sure what that was.
Not sharing screen, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, sorry. All right, so all right, this is Smile, or am I saying it right? But basically, it's a volatility primitive, an open source protocol enabling volatility-based products and strategies. Basically, it's DeFi and derivatives. For anybody who's really into all that, definitely check this out. Backed by Outlier Ventures and the grant from Uniswap. But these are basically interesting projects that we share with our audience, and all these are available on our website. I believe the schedule we're coming back to is to post this once a week every Thursday. So just come to Tokenmetrics and get it there. We also repost this on Twitter and also in our Telegram alerts. So definitely check that out. So to answer your question in terms of where to find, let me just put this up again. right? Where to find upcoming projects. You don't have to go anywhere else. You stay here with us at tokenmetrics.com. All right, great question. All right, solid project with market cap for maximum gains, like Matic, BNB, Aave for this bull run. Well, I mean, everything is at Tokenmetrics. So I've kind of gone through it. So you have the ratings page, right? Where you can come here and I would use the investor grade for that. But then you also have our research, right? I think our research people can just come to hidden gems and find interesting projects. And we're getting back to the deep dives as well. We just published one today, actually, on Obscuro. We may have to change the title of this because it's not really a deep dive anymore. But basically, these are interesting projects that we've gone through and done the fundamental and code review. And we think it makes sense. Well, this is mainly fundamentals and kind of going through and talking about the project, right? So kind of at a high level. But let us know, give us feedback. We're always looking for ways to improve. But that's that. I mean, very, very bullish on Obscuro. Our fund did invest into it. It's basically an Ethereum L2 for privacy. It's a hybrid between optimistic and ZK rollups. And we think that's going to be a big narrative between now and next cycle. And they launched at basically 30 million FTV or so. But anyway, that's that. Let me close all these other tabs that I don't need. But I've kind of shared all these other projects, but I would just use the investor grade to do the same thing I've done. All right, so actually, hold on. Let's have more questions. It's not the end. I remember the hype of Quirk Chain, One Chain, etc. What project at the moment, if any, has a similar hype? I would say the most hyped projects right now, I think, we've got XDC Network. I've covered this before. This, I think, is going to be big. They did have a large raise and a large valuation, but I would not be surprised if this was the next Solana for next cycle. It's basically a layer 1 blockchain designed purely for finance. So they're competing directly with Injective Protocol and Radix. Basically, it's a DeFi blockchain. Great investor list: Multicoin, Coinbase, Jump, Delphi Digital, Distributed Global. Worth keeping an eye on this project for sure. All right, and the main thing is they have a huge ecosystem, and the biz dev is very similar to Matic or Polygon, where they're basically getting all the who's who of crypto to build on their protocol, right? So you come over here, you have all these different projects building, right? You have Agoric, you have Alpha Venture DAO, you have Axola Network, you have Band, Bitget, right? You have all these interesting projects. So even all these others. So this is very, very hyped, worth keeping an eye on. The other one is actually Layer 0. But I don't think they've launched the token yet. Let me double check. Yeah, but I would say Layer 0. Now, this is not giving these projects a value assessment in terms of valuation. We're just kind of giving you what are the big projects to look out for, right? So you've got Layer 0, seamlessly connected blockchains, basically an omni-chain interoperability protocol. Layer 0 enables the basically cross-chain applications. So this is going to be big. You have A16Z, Sequoia, PayPal Ventures, Polygon, Coinbase Ventures. All right, so yeah, this is big. Then the others, you've got Celestia. Okay, that's not that one. Not Celestia, Celestia. Yeah, we got. Yeah, I think this is the site. Yeah, the first modular blockchain network Now, modular consensus on data network built to enable anyone to easily deploy their own blockchain with minimal overhead. All right, so these are the big narratives, big blockchains that are backed by big VCs. They're going to launch at $1 billion FDV. So these are basically could be the next optimisms, the next arbitrums, the next polygons, right? You have basically this whole cross-chain, omni-chain narrative that's going to be big next cycle. That's already kind of big. Then you also have this whole modular blockchain perspective that's going to be big, right? So looking at this, you basically have traditional monolithic architecture, right, where developers can only use programming languages supported by a chain's execution environment. Then they basically are breaking this apart and creating modular architecture, where basically developers can easily define and build their own virtual environments, similar to virtual machines, right? So you basically have here what they have: the data layer and the execution layer and smart contracts, right? While here you have consensus. Basically, here everything is bundled together. Well, with this, it's more modular. It's more like Lego pieces, giving more flexibility, right? So mainnet launch is happening this year, and they're having an incentivized testnet, which typically means airdrop, right? So yeah, these are I think, going to be the big hyped projects for us. So if you actually pull up the Telegram group, it should be pretty big. Actually, it is not. 12,000 people in the Telegram community. So I'm actually surprised it's still that small. Huh. Yeah, so you have that. What else? I would say you have ZK Sync, right? Their blockchain. ZK Sync and ZK Rollup. That's going to be a big narrative, right? So this will be very, very hyped. They've raised a lot of money. ZK Sync is a layer 2 protocol that scales Ethereum with cutting edge ZK tech. So you have this. You have some other competitors such as Tyco, which we covered. We had a code review on this. It scored very, very well. I believe it was like a 94%. This is a ZK EVM as well. This, I think, will be hyped. Yeah, but those are the big projects I'll be looking at that are hyped. But very, very good question. Did I check the news for Luxo? No, I did not, unfortunately. And I'm going to skip that for now. What is your next gem coin, like Helium and Polygon? So basically, the next 400x, because both of them did 400x investment, at least for me personally. I mean, that's crazy in crypto, right?
We just landed on the moon and the land.
That's basically turning $1,000 to 400 grand. So how's that going to happen, right? So the reason why those did well, Polygon, you can buy it on exchanges. It was a great technology, great fundamentals, launched at very low valuations. The valuation matters. The entry point matters. So with those projects, basically Polygon, it launched as a Binance Launchpad event at about 20 million FTV. It went up to, I've actually got to, yeah, because currently it's about like 14 million FTV. And basically, it did very, very well, right? Same thing with Helium. Helium launched, they had an equity round. They raised capital equity, but anybody could just buy the mining device and just mine and earn money that way, right? But they both had great entry points. That's what you have to kind of factor in. So if I had to say, okay, what projects can do a 400x return? I mean, that is crazy. You have to first think of how improbable that is. But the ones I would think, are actually projects we've been researching or have invested in via Token Metrics Ventures, our fund. Anybody can track our portfolio by just going to ventures.tokenmetrics.com. This gets updated about once a month or so, maybe a few times a month. But I'm kind of going through projects I like. There are actually some projects that are not here yet that we're in the final stages of investing in. But there would have to be projects that have great technology, great fundamentals, that fit a narrative that I think will be huge next cycle. And we said next cycle being from now to pre-accumulation phases from now to Bitcoin halving, which is April 2024. And then from there, we have 15 months of parabolic price action, basically bull run. So we have basically 2 years. So what project do I think in that 2-year time frame can do a 400x return? If crypto is currently at $1 trillion market cap, and I think it's going to go to 5 trillion as a base case, Mooncase maybe 10 trillion. We're basically looking at what products can fit well. All right, so it has to have good fundamentals, good tech, and I think have a big narrative where it can ride the wave of that narrative. So if I had to pick between our babies here, projects I think could do well. Actually, one that's coming up, NULS, worth looking into, right? $20 million FTV for the last round. They're currently doing some kind of, I guess, sale or drop on Cosmos and Osmosis. I haven't really dealt with all that, but it's basically a $20 million lending protocol on Cosmos that has very, very interesting tech. But just to kind of give you guys perspective, right? So if we go to the lending space, pulling up CoinGecko here, lending and borrowing category. Right, it's a $3 billion market cap sector, but let's actually skip all that and just do purely based on FTV. Aave is $1 billion, right? FTV. Makers 667 million. Compound 350 million. They're 20 million, right? So you have Liquidity, which is a good project as well, 123 million. Right, so if we assume that the whole space does a 5x, right, and all these stay the same in terms of FTV ratio to total crypto market cap, Aave would be basically a $5 billion project, right? Maker 600. I mean, what? Yeah, about 3 billion, 3.5 billion. But basically, you guys kind of get the idea, right? So if we say, if we take because with these early stage products, you're hoping to have home runs. You're not trying to invest in these to have singles and doubles. You're trying to have a home run or a walk-off grand slam home run, right? 400x. So if we're going to do that and say, okay, the Mooncase is a project like NULS could be, let's say, top 3 in lending and borrowing, because if we're bullish on Cosmos next cycle, right? Because I pulled up the developer reports. If you go to developer, it's developer report, right? So I'm going to pull this up real quick, because this is how you catch narratives before they happen, right? So coming here, where are developers going? So surprisingly, Ethereum has lost 3% of developers in the last 1 year, and 2%. I'm sorry, 55% gained in the last 2 years. But the big trend I'm seeing, Polkadot is losing devs. 12% loss for Polkadot, while Cosmos has gained 10%. That's a 22% net change of Cosmos versus Polkadot. They both have the whole layer 0 interoperability narrative, but developers are migrating from Polkadot to Cosmos. That's the big tailwind. That's the big headwind we want to get ahead of. That's why we're very bullish on the Cosmos ecosystem. They both have good tech, but developer-wise, I think in 1 year, in 2 years, there'll be more devs on Cosmos. And the big reason why that's happening is it's expensive to launch on Polkadot versus Cosmos with the whole parachain and everything, right? So that's one narrative we're watching. So if we're bullish on Cosmos to keep on trending, who's going to be the winner when it comes to Cosmos, DeFi, lending, and borrowing, right? That's why look at the space, NULS, 20 million FTV, all right? If they do a 10x, that's 200x. But if they do 100x, right, that's $2 billion FTV. And if the market does a 5x, and Aave was what, 5 billion? That's still cheaper than Aave, right? That basically, let me just do all this quick math real quick, right? So, and if the whole market does a 5x, Aave is at a $5 billion FTV, Maker's at 3.3 billion, and you have Compound at Compound at 1.8 billion. NULS could be third in FTV, basically the third best DeFi lending project out there, and still be reasonable, right? So that's basically looking at about 100x, right? So obviously this is all speculation, and we're trying to predict the Mooncase, right? But that's kind of one way, right? So NULS we like lending wise because it fits the good tech, good fundamentals, and the Cosmo narrative. Now, the other one I want to cover, Obscuro. I've covered that before. Kind of the same thing. That's why we put out the report on this. So just like Matic and Polygon, they had low valuations. Matic was basically 20 million FTV, and it went to a lot. Right now, it's like about between 8 to 13 billion. Obscuro, it's about 30 million FTV. It's a layer 2 for privacy. Has the whole layer 2 narrative, has the Ethereum EVM narrative, and has the ZK and optimistic rollup narrative. So, and great team, great tech. So we think it's worth placing a bet, and that's why we're very, very bullish on this. Because if that does 100x, that's basically $3 billion FTV, and that's still pretty cheap, right? Because if Matic does a 5x from currently let's say 10 billion, if Matic has 50 billion as a L2 or L2 for interoperability, 2 billion is still pretty cheap, right? So this is one other one we like that we shared with our customers is Illuvium. So you notice we have lots of infrastructure and DeFi and basically high-tech projects. Now you have Illuvium, recent investment. This fits the ZK-VM narrative, right? It's basically a ZK-VM-based high-performance, privacy-focused layer 2, right? So we're kind of diversifying across different blockchains. So L2 with the ZK-VM narrative, worth checking it out, illuvm.org. Hasn't launched yet. Will likely launch sometime next year, but this was at about 40 million FTV. Actually, part of the team from Qtum is building this project, or this is their project. Then a new one we recently invested in called Dojima Network, worth looking into. It kind of reminds us of Polygon because it's also an Indian team. Tech is good. Tech scored at 89% or 87%. Basically, it checks out. Fundamentals are good as well. But why I like it, let me just kind of come here, right? It's an omni-chain layer, all right, where users from all different ecosystems come together to build cross-chain dApps. So this fits, so good tech, good fundamentals, fits the omni-chain layer narrative for next cycle, and has both Cosmos and Ethereum EVM compatibility. Two big ecosystems. So to kind of come down here, right? There should be a diagram somewhere. This is basically just at a high level. You have the Dojima chain, which is a cross-chain EVM layer, right? Ethereum virtual machine. So anybody building Ethereum applications can port them over to Dojima chain. Then they have a second layer called the Hermes layer, which is basically connects to other blockchains. You have Cosmos, Polkadot, Binance, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Arweave. So literally, if you're building applications on Cosmos, Solana, ETH, Bitcoin, all these can be done. So it's an if it's the big omni-chain narrative, we think it's going to be big for next cycle. So very, very interesting project, worth looking into. Basically at a $40 million FTV, right? So I think this has 100x potential. This is basically the list of investors. We just recently invested in this. But basically, let me see if there are any other projects I think can really be big. What are the other big narratives? Just give me. Oh, actually, Move, right? So the other big tailwind we're looking to add exposure to in our fund, right? If you come here and look at what are the big ecosystems developers are gravitating to, and so we have Aztec, which is ZK, right? Narrative. We have Sui Network and Aptos. Both of them have over 400% growth in developers in the last 1 year. And now that they've launched, developers are now gravitating to them even more, right? So we've come across two projects that fit that whole, because both of them use the Move programming language. And if we come to our research site, and we've under code reviews, we've shared one. Let me pull this up here. And I think I may have covered this on last week's stream, or either that or on the customer webinar. Yeah, so one was Roosh, right? It's basically modular, right? Modular is also a big narrative, kind of how I mentioned with with Celestia, right? Modular blockchains. So this is basically a modular layer 2 blockchain that lets basically, if I pull up this code review here, right? It's a modular layer 2 blockchain project that aims to enhance multi-chain settlement. All right, so basically it has the modular narrative, it has the move narrative. So anybody who's building in move can basically, can I pull up the website? Let me pull up their site, it might be easier. So this one we've not invested in. However, it's on our watch list and we might end up investing. Yeah, so Root is a fast, modular, secure, developer-friendly infrastructure solution for bringing Web3 native applications, blah, blah, blah. Let me actually move over here. But so there's this project, right? And then the other one is, I believe, Movement Labs. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is the website. Right, this is also a Move blockchain, relatively new, right? Movement is a modular framework to build and deploy Move-based blockchains, applications, and infrastructure in any distributed environment, right? So you're seeing how all these big narratives kind of come together, right? So we have Move as an ecosystem, right, where Move developers are gravitating towards Move blockchains, right? So in the same way how we had last cycle, we had Rust and Solana, and how developers were going from Solidity and Ethereum to Rust and Solana because it was easier to code smart contracts in Rust. Now, same thing. Move is a programming language to watch, and developers are moving there. It's not quite anywhere close to Ethereum yet. Right? Ethereum has almost 2,000 devs versus 60 something for Aptos and 67 for Sui. So it's not anywhere close yet, but it is a trend worth watching, right? And once these projects have now launched, and next cycle, we have about less than 2 years for these to really, Sui and Aptos could be the next Solana, and how Rust was to Solana, Move will be to Aptos and Sui. But what about other applications? What about other devs who want to migrate over in an easier manner, right? So for example, like Roosh that I covered, right, lets you build modular blockchains, L2s, right? So imagine being and Movement is kind of the same thing. They're actually building on Avalanche initially. So you can code on Movement and have that run on Avalanche. So you don't have to be on Sui or Aptos, right? So think of it as a Move EVM or Move virtual machine. So imagine being able to actually code in Move, but have it run on Ethereum, right? So all these are big different narratives we're looking into, right? So for example here, MVMT network brings modularity and interoperability to non-EVM smart contract languages, right? So existing projects can frictionlessly deploy on Movement. Yeah, because here they have Avalanche. So basically you can use Move and have your applications run on both Aptos, Sui, or Avalanche. So you don't have to pick between either, right? So you don't have to be locked into Aptos or Sui. You can kind of, it's basically an L2, kind of like how you can code in Ethereum, or rather Solidity, and have it run on different L2s, Arbitrum Optimism. So here's kind of the same thing, but on Aptos, Sui, and Avalanche. Very, very interesting. This one we're actually thinking of investing. I just want to put that out there. But yeah, these are different projects kind of on the radar. But okay, let's go back here. Yeah, well, I think that's kind of a good start. To kind of recap the big narratives to look out for, you've got modular blockchains. You have omni-chain interoperability, cross-chain. That's where it's been a big narrative. You have L2s, ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, hybrids, and I think that's kind of the gist of it. All right, so let me see, maybe one last question. I already kind of answered that. Any plans for AstroDAO for exchange listing? AstroDAO was actually listed this week on exchange. It was added to MEXC exchange. So yeah, but can't really comment on any other future exchange listings. But let's wrap things up there. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully you've all actually take a few questions here. Thank you, Crypto Onesito, for the the donation. Appreciate it, even though we don't need it. But thank you, Uberman as well, because Callisto Network. I have not heard of that, so can't really comment too much on it, unfortunately. But I would just check tokenomics for all that. Actually, here's a good question from Leona King. With tokenomics, how can I grow $5,000 from, I guess, while being an 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 worker? Well, on the side, you do the side hustle, right? So I would say definitely get at least a free account, basic plan on tokenomics, go through. That puts you on the watch list, on the newsletter. So that gives you our reports, right? So if I start where I was, right? If you just go to research, right? If you're looking for products with great tech, I would do the code reviews, right? This basically gives you different products we like. If you're looking for early stage products that haven't launched yet, hidden gems, right? Each week we give you a curated list of the most interesting projects we come across. And for example, analog, an L0, right? Or if you like Bitcoin ordinal plays, you got Unisat and you've got Xverse to watch. So most of these projects are actually typically more private sale projects or angel investing projects. But for those working 9 to 5, this could be projects that where you get in early and end up getting an airdrop, right? Or joining their testnet and getting an airdrop that way. Or maybe they might end up launching on CoinList or some other platform or doing an IDO or on Binance Launchpad. But projects on here are typically ones that are interesting. And then I'm bringing back the 100x show where you can go through, right? We'll have one for NULS, so you can go through and actually find projects early that we find interesting. And then webinars for our premium customers, where it's kind of like this, but just with our customers, where we go through and put the actual recording. Let me actually see if you guys can see this. Basically, customers come and bring questions, and it's me. We go through, answer them. We have some notes here, right? And we have the actual recording, right? Like this is an actual. Let me actually see if I can preview this, right? It's basically me going through and just doing a deep dive. Like this is me actually talking about Move. Here on the webinar, the upside to that is I can share stuff that's more private in nature. So, for example, if products are currently raising in a private sale and they don't want the information to be public, in a private setting, we can kind of go through the deck and other stuff. So that's one place to start. And then I would just say, just using the ratings, right? So each Friday on the stream, I go through how to use the platform. And you can come here and do it yourself, right? With the trader section, with the investor section, or grade. And then we're also working on launching a chatbot. That I think would be even better, right? It's currently in testing. If I go to the alpha site, we're hoping to launch this as early as next month. Okay, I guess I gotta log in here. Okay, I won't do that live. But basically, yeah, those are different ways I would go about trying to make money while working on the side. I have other videos that do a deeper dive on it. For example, the strategy, right? So a good strategy is to pick a portfolio of 20 crypto assets you'd like to invest in, right? And put it max 5% in each. This is for the long term, right? So you have from now till summer 2025, basically you have less than 2 years, right? You buy and you hodl, right? You basically build a basket of 20 crypto assets. If you want to be going for the home runs, you're probably going to be Lowcap, more FDB. So all these products I mentioned, that's one way you can do it, right? So let's say you want to add Obscura or NULS or Movement or Roosh or Taiko or ZK Sync, right? Or Dojima, right? But you want to filter out those that have good fundamental, good tech with low valuations, right? So that's the strategy. So but just basically just stick with us. We're still here, right? Join the live stream. Be on the newsletter. We put out recaps a lot, almost every week. And stay with us, because Polygon and Matic, I mean, if you followed us last cycle, we were basically talking about that all the time. So we'll keep on doing the same. With that being said, thank you, everybody. Happy Friday. And as we like to say,
we just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
The moon is not the limit to the moon and beyond. Thank you, everybody.